Hello. Where's
Hi,
Dr.
today.
Addy?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to make sure my camera stays at one place.
Oh, yeah?
So good to see you.
Same here. Same here. Good to finally meet you, even though it's virtually, but good to finally meet you. Thanks for all the good things you're sharing. You've been a very positive person online and offline, but I'm seeing your trails, and thank you very much for all the good things you're doing.
Thank you. And thank you too. Thank you for all the amazing work you're doing. And,
Thank you.
I feel so bad that I didn't know you when I was in Toronto. I feel like, man,
I
there's
know.
so much.
I probably was hibernating somewhere, a lot of
Oh,
times. I think I just started using social media October 2018. That was when I really started coming out and sharing a lot of vital information. So maybe you were here before then.
okay. Yeah, I was. I was.
Okay.
But anyway, it's good to finally meet you. I come home. Canada is home, right? So I come home frequently. So hopefully, whenever I
Okay.
visit again,
Okay.
we'll get to at least meet in person, maybe
Definitely.
go for coffee or lunch.
Definitely. Definitely.
Everyone, welcome to the show again today. So this is Quarantine with Dr. Addy, and I'm so excited that we have Tunde on board today to talk about, we're going to be talking about this, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background. The job offer issues, right? I've heard from people saying, hey, I actually relocated to Canada. I've been living in this country now for 2 years. I still don't have a job. And we have people back home who are wondering, how do I get a job offer back home to enable me boost my maybe their PMP application. So we're hoping that during these conversations that we'll have today, you guys will get that clarity that you need. I want to tell you a bit about me, and then Tunde will tell you a bit about him, and we'll get started. So for
Okay.
those who don't know me, maybe from Tunde's profile joining, my name is Adiola Olubamiji, and people call me Dr. Addy. So I work at Comment. Called in, so the live call just
Oh,
went
okay.
off.
I see.
So I work at Cummins, and as a technical advisor, I am the subject matter expert for additive manufacturing, popularly called 3D printing. So I am all for the jobs of the future. I am one of the advocates for Industry 4.0. So I have a PhD in biomedical engineering from University of Saskatchewan. And since then, I've been working in the additive manufacturing space. So I've gone from working in additive manufacturing for aerospace, and I'm now in additive manufacturing for automotive applications. Why am I the right person to talk about this job offer issue? So I'm a career coach. I am the founder of DTech Centrics. So it's a consulting company, engineering and career consulting company. Apart from that, I did 3,000 applications when I was looking for a job in Canada. So when it comes to looking for a job, I consider myself a pro. And I got a job here in the US from Canada, and that job relocated me fully packaged. So I believe that with my experience coming from Nigeria to Finland to Canada and really coming to America working, today we will share with you some of the very critical things that you need to learn, and maybe some of the reasons why you have not gotten the job offer that you've been asking for.
For
This is not only applicable to Canada. This is what you need for you to launch anywhere in the world, in Nigeria, in Asia, in Europe. We want to try to load you up so wherever you are in good hands. Tunde, introduction.
Yeah, I think my name is Tunde, also known as Tunde Tash online. My background is in human resources. Prior to that, I did chemistry for undergrad, and somehow I found my way in human resources, and I've been in love since then, right? So the call came to study in Canada, and I never turned down the chance, even though I was not yet ripe to come to Canada because I hadn't, gotten my school fees ready and all that. But I came regardless, and I think that's what spurred me to always tell my story. I came as a student who had no school fees, but I was able to see through that process, right? Work numerous jobs, stood 8 hours numerous times just so that I could pay school fees, and I was still able to come out with distinction, right? And afterwards, I got an internship with one of the biggest insurance company in Canada, and that was actually what set my career, in place in Canada. So unlike you, I would say I give you the respect. That number of applications you've done, I probably would have given up. But I did 78 applications. I did 78 and 4 interviews, and that was actually, it was after that I got, the internship, and that kind of set my career in motion in Canada. And yeah, almost 2 years in the insurance industry, I got an opportunity to move to Toronto because I was in Kitchener prior to that. I got an opportunity to move to Toronto in one of the big 5. And I kind of grew in that role as well. In just 1 year, I got a promotion to be a senior business operations analyst, where I oversee the human resources aspect of a business management team that oversees the largest technology operations department in the bank, right? And my capacity has grown ever since, and I've been able to use my expertise, my experience, my knowledge to advise newcomers, to help people as much as I can. And here I am today with Dr. Addy, trying to share another useful information.
Thank you, Tunde, for all the tips you share on Twitter. So before myself and Tunde ever got talking, Tunde used to remind us that we need to finish our online courses.
You have to.
And sometimes when he says your online course is waving at you, I will be talking to myself and yelling, leave me alone.
You get that all the time.
Well, thank you for all the good work you do out there.
Thank you.
This is how it's going to work, guys. So today we have a couple of topics lined up for you guys. So the agenda is as follows. I'm going to go first. I'm going to talk about a few things you need to know about career portfolio. I'm also going to talk about, market research. How do you ensure that you are mapping your career properly? Career mapping. After that, Tunde is going to take over. Tunde is going to walk us through a couple of things on how do you want to market yourself. He's going to show us what are different options when it comes to resume. And after that, he's going to walk us through how do you find hidden jobs. In Canada, there are hidden jobs that you actually will not see available online. He's going to walk us through that. He's also going to talk about, should you use an agent? All those agencies that are helping people apply for jobs, should you use an agency or not? And give us some hints on what agencies are out there and what should you do, especially for those applying from back home. I'm going to take over from Tunde after. I will be talking to you about LinkedIn optimization. LinkedIn is another tool that you can use. You must leverage. It's not like you can use it. You must leverage LinkedIn. And the reason for that is because your chance of getting a job when you apply through job boards is 3%. And your chance of getting a job when you go through LinkedIn is 8%. So when you look at that percentage, it is easier for you to position yourself well on LinkedIn and get a job than it is easier for you to be applying through job boards and online sources. So I feel like LinkedIn is very, very vital as you try to establish yourself in your career wherever you are around the world. So as you guys know the drill, I always have slides. So today, with your permission, can I get started with
Definitely,
the first one?
Definitely. Please, go ahead.
Okay. So we are hoping, guys, that we're going to do an hour, but I know you guys, we can't finish this in an hour. I talk too much. So I feel like we will need more than an hour. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Guys, can you see the slide? Okay. You can see all the stuff there. It's clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, I want you to help us do something. This is something that people pay me for. So I have a career mentorship program. People actually pay me for me to help them map their career. If you are listening to us today, please snapshot this, tweet it. We want you to tweet at me and Tunde, tweet at us. We want people to join this because this is what they need, especially if they're complaining, I've graduated for 5 years. I don't have a job. I've graduated for a year. I don't have a job. This is what you need. I want you to please help us tweet it so we can have more people come in. Last week, we have 1,300 people. So we have 409 now. So please tweet this, share it on your Instagram, tag us in your story and whatever. Just let people come and go on Facebook. Let your cousin, put it in your WhatsApp group. Your cousin, your uncle, all of them. Let them come and
everywhere.
Yes. All right. Let's talk about your career option. I'm not using myself here. I'm using a typical mechanical engineer here. When you graduate from a university, you get a degree. And when you get a degree, oftentimes people don't understand that from that one single degree, you can map your career into multiple things. So if you graduate, for example, here as a mechanical engineer, you don't have to say it's only mechanical engineer jobs that I'll be looking for. From one degree, you can have multiple things. So I went to school in Nigeria. I also went to school in Europe. I went to school in Canada. Europe has the most definite and easier way for you to map your career. So when I studied biomedical engineering, I had a major in medical physics and a minor in material science. Because I have a minor and a major, from the beginning of my career in Finland, I already knew that I could map my one single biomedical engineering. I can go into multiple portfolios and have different functions if I don't want to practice as a biomedical engineer. There are options. So what am I saying here? Have you graduated from school? Did you get a degree? Have you thought through, with my degree, what are the different industries or areas where I can work? Let's start with areas first. So I'm showing here that a mechanical engineer can actually work as 8 different things. So a mechanical engineer can work as a manufacturing engineer, a reliability and maintenance engineer, controls and instrumentation engineer, piping, and even marine engineer. They can work as a nuclear engineer, design engineer. They can work as advanced simulation engineer and aerospace engineer. 1 degree, 8 different paths. Wow. The next question is, how do I determine which path is best for me? Which path is going to be more lucrative for me? Which path should I focus on based on what I have? And I'm going to go straight into that. So the question to you is, what degree do you have? Do you understand what are the possible jobs or what are the possible career paths you can do with your degree? That's question 1. Somebody can be helping us type it out. If you can, please tweet it if you can. The second question I have with you is, if these are the possible career paths that I can take out of my degree, which one of them is lucrative right now? Which one of them will position me for the jobs of the future? So if you have a degree in economics, for example, or finance, so you got your degree in accounting, are you thinking with the degree in accounting, what are the possible career routes available for me? And which of these career routes is in the industry 4.0 swim lane somewhere? Maybe with your degree in finance, you can cross over to data analytics. Maybe with your degree in finance, you can cross over to financial engineering. Maybe with that degree in finance, you can go into business analytics. Those are areas under Industry 4.0, which means the jobs of the future. So if you get a degree today, or if you currently have a degree, I want you to start to ask that question. What does my map look like? What are the different swim lanes where I can utilize this? And which one should I target right now based on the need? Now let's move on to the second thing. So now, let's say you have gone on Google, you got a degree, and now on Google, they gave you 10 things. I say you can become, from a biochemistry degree, you can do biotechnology, bioinformatics, all of these things, they've given it to you. Now you are thinking, so how do I now build a portfolio for the career that I have chosen? So let's say I chose that from a mechanical engineering degree, I want to be a manufacturing engineer, specifically additive manufacturing engineer, because additive manufacturing means 3D printing engineer. So someone with a mechanical engineering degree can become an additive manufacturing engineer, right? Jobs of the future. Additive manufacturing is one of the swim lanes. Now I have to think about, how do I build a portfolio? Before you build a portfolio, you have to think through, all right, what do I need to do first? If I want a job as an additive manufacturing engineer, how do I get one? What are the things that I need to do? The first thing you need to do is market research. Before you can get any job, you need to know, what are the requirements? What are the must-haves? What are the added advantage? So you can go on Google. I hope you're doing some exercises here. Go on Google, type in the career you want, the job that you think you want. Like I said, additive manufacturing engineer jobs. And look at different jobs that comes up, maybe on Indeed or Jobberman or wherever you are. You know what they use there. Click on that and do market research. Do 10 of those openings that come up. Do minimum of 10. With 10, you can understand what is the must-have. Are they looking for someone with a degree in mechanical engineering? Because in some cases, they may say they're looking for an additive manufacturing engineer and they'll say the degree. Mechanical engineering, material research, they've put many options. Did you see your degree there? If your degree is not there, that is not the right one for you. Go back and do your remapping. You have to go and remap again. So, but if your degree is there as the degree requirement, now what are the other things they need? Maybe they say you need to know how to use certain softwares. You need to know how to use CAD software such as AutoCAD or Inventor or SolidWorks. And I'm using mechanical engineers as an example here, guys. Sorry, it's just that I want to use one example so we can follow through. And maybe they say you need to know how to run simulation, maybe FEA or CFD or something like that. So I want you to start to write down, when you do your market research, you will have severity levels. Inside your must-haves, what are the most critical ones that keep coming up? So every time when you click a job, this one is always you must have. That is a critical one. So you need to put that under critical level 1. All the skill sets that they said you must have, put it under critical level 1. All the ones that they said, if you have this, it will be an added advantage. Put it under critical level 2. You need to map this for you to really now think. After you've finished mapping, you now need to sit down and ask yourself, do I have some of these skill sets? Have I used these tools before? If there are software tools or hardware skills, do I have these skill sets? You need to now think about that without lying to yourself. If you have 60% of what they're looking for, I think is a good starting point. I think you should submit an application. If you have less than 60%, go back to your career map. There is a course or there is a career path there where you fit better. So go back and remap. So I'm challenging you now. So you're sitting here, you're wondering, oh, I didn't have a job. I've graduated for 3 years. This may be the mistake you're making. You don't have the skills in your portfolio that the employer needs. If you don't have it, they're not going to hire you now. Let's be honest. But now, let's say you now have, these are the critical skills. These are the must-haves. These are the nice-to-haves. Once you've asked yourself, I want you to now do a good career portfolio where you map out, these are the ones I don't have that I need to have. How do I want to get them? How do you want to get them? Is it by experience? Is it from getting an education? Is it from licensing? Is it from getting certification? Now I want you to map those things down and put timelines. Put timelines as to, because I need this, is a must-have, I need to get it somehow. Maybe I want to go and take an online course. Or maybe I need to do a certification. Now I have to start preparing. How do I get that certification? Because it's necessary for your portfolio. If you are relocating to Canada, I'm expecting that you will start to do this for Canada. Don't do it for Nigeria because location affects priority and needs of industry. So you need to do this for the location where you belong. So if you're trying to move to Canada, start to say mechanical engineering jobs in Canada so that they will bring up their requirements and you can make sure you fill the requirements. Okay, we have spent, I told Tunde that this session is 10 minutes and that is the end of my 10 minutes. Before I go, I want you to talk a bit about functional areas. So let's say you have defined, you have understood these are the skill sets I need. But you need to understand that those skill sets will key under certain functional areas. So maybe as a mechanical engineer, you need to have design skills. So under design, that is functional subheading. Under design skill, you may now know that I need to know how to use Inventor. I need to know these 3 softwares. So you need to map out what are my functional areas. As I'm showing in this diagram here, there's a lady in the middle, and all of those things surrounding her are functional areas. Those functional areas, now, each of those functional areas, you need skill sets for them. It may be 3 skill sets, 2 skill sets, whatever you need, do a map. It's like, it's like watching Money East, and that professor guy is mapping the thing. You do your own version of Money East mapping. I want you to do that. I hope that helps. I feel like if you get this right, getting a job will be easier for you. Without getting this right, whatever you put in your resume will not make sense. Because if you put in whatever you put in your resume, if it does not map correctly, if it does not satisfy the market need, no matter how many thousands of resume you send, if the market need is not satisfied, you are not going to get that job.
That's true. That's true.
If you don't have the right skill set, if you don't have your functional areas mapped out correctly and knowing that I capture everything this industry needs today, if you don't have it mapped out, you might only be capturing 3 and leaving out 3. And you think your resume is banging, but you actually don't have a complete functional area portfolio. So you may be crying and saying, nobody's calling me. I do this personally every year. Every year, I do another market research because I want to stay competitive. Whether you're a recent graduate or you've been working for 20 years, the only way to stay competitive is to make sure every year you are doing your market research to understand the market need.
That's
and
true.
Making sure you are upskilling as you go to add new skills to your portfolio, to those functional areas, so you will remain on top. Sometimes people attribute different things and say, oh, it's because I'm female that they have not given me some things. Yes, in some cases it's true. But I'm telling you, in some cases, it's also because your market research is not done and your career portfolio is almost empty, but your resume looks very nice. Nice resumes don't get people jobs. Resume that is packed is what get people jobs. Today, thank you for your patience, and over to you.
No problem. I think you've said so much. You've given some very important facts. Looking from a human resources point of view, I think this is what it boils down to many times when a lot of people apply for jobs. They probably just randomly apply, and they probably wouldn't have done a lot of the back end work that you've talked about here, and that's why many times the 6 seconds rule always apply. Right. And this is where a recruiter only needs 6 seconds to decide if this resume, if this profile I'm seeing actually deserves another look, if I need to speak with this person or not. And that's what I'm going to be talking about. For me, I wouldn't be doing this slide like you did, because I noticed some people were complaining that they couldn't see the full slides. And I don't think I can actually do that because you're the one hosting me. So I think
I have all your slides.
Oh, okay, that's fine. You can share it.
You can share it like this. This is Clara. This is Clara.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
Sharon.
So I'm just going to be doing this.
Okay.
So yeah, basically, like I said, an average recruiter would actually just scan your resume for 6 seconds. They need just 6 seconds to decide if it's a good resume or not, right? And what you need to do is to really know what kind of resume do I want to put out there, depending on your profile, right? And like you were talking, you mentioned functionality as well, and I'll be looking at 2 things here, which is chronological resume. You have the functional resume as well, and then you also have the combination resume. And what are these 3 types of arrangement? Basically, the chronological resume is for people who know that what, I've actually had very good, consistent professional experience. I'm on track, right? All these things you mentioned, I'm on track. I have them all on check. That's when you should do that. You should have a chronological resume. The functional resume is for people who've had, several gaps or changes in their career. You are trying to switch, right? Like you said, you're looking at, do I go into business analytics? Do I go into financial engineering? All that, right? You're looking to switch one way or the other. That's where you look at the functional resume. And then the combination is really people with a different, diverse background of experience, right? And something that is really, a diverse background that is actually relevant to that job you are applying to, right? So I don't know if everybody has seen this so that I can move on to the next slides.
So I want to say, if you can't see it, I have today's slide with his permission.
Okay.
I'm going to send it to the mailing list.
Okay.
Some of you are already on the mailing list. If you're not on the mailing list or you're not getting the emails, you are angry. I know you're angry. Please drop your emails. Drop your emails. I believe my PAs are here. They are going to grab your emails. If you're not on the mailing list, so don't repeat. So I can send you my slides and Tunde's slides if you can't see it right now. So please drop your email if you're not on the mailing list. Okay.
So I'm trying as much as possible to yes, people say they can see it, so I believe they must have done the screen grab, and also they will get it from you as well. So going to the next one, so I'm really going to be looking at the combination resume. And so basically the combination resume is arranged this way. Usually you have your name, your contact information, a summary on objective, your skills and your abilities as they apply to the role. And like Dr. Addy said, you want to be sure you've done your research properly. Many times we get resumes and it's like, you know, you are going to Yaba and the person is taking you to Victoria Island. Like, there are two different journey entirely. You want to be sure that your resume, you know, kind of aligns with what is expected of the job, right? And then the next one will be your professional resume, your educational history. In Canada, I'm going to make a note here. In Canada, it is also important to have a section where you have volunteer experience, right? And this is because many organizations are big on CSR, many organizations are big on volunteering, right? And they want to see that, oh, this person, you know, has the act of giving back. This person does, you know, has done that in the past, right? And what many organizations do as well is they usually give like 2 days, two paid days where you can go and volunteer anywhere, right? So it's always good to put that. And I always tell people, it might even be a volunteer opportunity you've done in church. Maybe you are an usher, right? Some people get paid for it in other places just to direct all those kind of services. But for you, it's a volunteer. You put it on the resume, right? All those type of volunteering opportunities you've had in the past, try to put it. So a combination resume will really not look more than this, like I said, you know, and you want to be very sure that you are strategic about it, you know, you are deliberate about it. Map it to the job opening. Don't submit. Don't have, many people will say have a general resume that you can submit to any roles. It's very good, yes. However, it is important to always map your resume to that job opening you are applying to. And something that I always use, use as a what's it called now? I'll say a blueprint. You know, I have this resume by location. It's bigger than this, but because of the context of what we are looking at and talking about today, I've narrowed it down to just these 4 locations, right? So many locations have different types of ways that the resumes are being done, you know, and even there are places that don't call it resume, they call it CV. You know, in the UK, it's called CV. In Nigeria, we call it CV. In North America, we call it resume. In some part of Europe, like Germany, for instance, they call it resume, not CV, right? So this blueprint kind of helps me. And like I said, it's much more than this. This blueprint kind of helps me whenever anybody sends the resume to me and they say, oh, I'm applying for this role. I ask them, where are you applying for the role? Where is the place? Is it in Nigeria? Is it here in Canada? Is it in the US? Where is it? Right? That would kind of help to map that resume properly. So if you have something like this, it will help you. You know, most times you see people sending resume, you might have a picture. You know, in somewhere like United Kingdom, you are not supposed to attach a picture to your resume. In somewhere like Germany, you need a picture on your resume. Right. So by the time you have this kind of blueprint, you'll be able to understand, how am I supposed to arrange my resume? I learned just last week, Sunday, that in Hong Kong, you don't type your resume. You write it, you know, it's handwritten, right? And this is because they believe that anybody who writes their resume needs the job, is desperate for the job, right? So if people can take screenshots of this and look at it. So in North America, Canada, for instance, we call it resume. The number of pages usually 1 to 2. You know, photo of your resume, not at all. It has to be formal. Their personal details, not required. No birthday, no gender, nothing like that. No religion, no local government. You know, and what section comes first? Your personal info and contact details does come first, right? And in European countries, like I said, is either CV or resume. 2 to 3 pages is fine. Can you put a photo on your resume? Yes. Writing style is formal. The personal details, no as well. And then that's what section comes first. In the United Kingdom, it's called CV. Number of pages, at least 2. Photo on your resume, not at all. Writing format, it has to be plain and formal. And your personal details as well, no. And then in Africa, so I'll take Nigeria as an instance. We call it CV. You're allowed to have at least 2 to 3 pages, which is fine. Photo on your resume, that is debatable. Some organization require that you add a photo of your resume, but you're having the new generation organizations who actually don't require it or who don't see it as an importance. And your writing format, of course, is formal. The personal details, yes. So the personal details is still up for debate till date. you see many of the government parastatal requesting for, what's your origin, what's your local government, because they're trying to allocate by the number of, wherever local government you are from, right? But then I think the labor laws are not yet strong. They're not strong enough to actually take away those kind of things, because it actually leads to bias at the end of the day. Nobody should put their gender, their religion, their local government here in Canada, because you can actually, if an employer asks for those details, you can actually take it up with them, as a ground for bias, as what you would call harassment or whatever. So I don't know if people have gotten this. I'm going to.
We got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to the next slide. Yes. So this is just a plain example. So it is not a resume to be used or copied. It's just a simple example of what a combination resume looks like and the arrangement, right? Usually you would have at the top here, you should have after Toronto, you should have your contact details, your email, your phone number, right? And you will have it. It's like I said, it's always very good to have a very clean, concise resume, not too much info. Make it as detailed as possible, strategic as well, And for work history, something I'm going to talk about for work history is, I've seen most times when I help people review their resumes, like look for instance now, look at the first sentence here. It says applied security and loss prevention training toward recognizing risks and reducing store theft. The first word there is applied. If you look at the second word, it says trained. If you look at the third word, it says maintained. The fourth word said implemented. And what are these words? These are like action words, verbs, right? Action words. And it's in past tense, applied, maintained, implemented, not implementing. Do you understand? Even if you are still working there, right? You want to be very careful of those kind of words, because and action words actually help the person understand an overview of a task that you're trying to tell them, right? It kind of gives me a snapshot immediately. And that's where this all boils down to the 6 seconds rule. If I pick a resume and all these kind of action words are not starting your responsibilities, it just takes me off the guard and I want to move on to the next resume immediately, regardless of the whole certifications that might be on your resume. I'm going to move on quickly because I cannot understand, right, what you're trying to tell me, the message you're trying to pass through, with your resume. So this is just basically a simple combination style resume. I always tell people, it doesn't have to be totally black and white all through. You can make it, at least a few of them, make it a little bit, catchy, right? If it's going to be the blue header like I use, where I put the professional summary, the skills and work history, let it be there, right? Rather than just making it the traditional, black and white and all that. It does help as well. It does really help. Okay, so
before you move on, is it okay if I had a few things?
Please,
okay.
Definitely.
So
definitely.
Tunde is the HR, they are the police. Me, I'm the thief, right? That was the first. And you can put it back up if it's possible. So a few things that I want to add is I am saying this as an immigrant who went to school in Canada. One of the things, because I have a career coaching service, so I help people with their resumes. And some of the things that I felt that always make myself stand out or my client, that's why I could get a job from Canada, right? The first thing, when I feel like the first half of your resume is the most critical part of the entire thing.
It is.
Yes. Sometimes you have a 2-pager or a 1-pager. But whatever is in the first half is going to sell you or mar you.
Exactly.
Because the person who has 6 seconds to look at it, it doesn't have 6 seconds to read everything.
Exactly.
So the question becomes, how do I make that first half catchy? So when I see your resume, based on how Tunde did it here, the first thing I see is your name. Your name is the first thing I see.
Exactly.
Now, let's say that name is Adiola Olubamiji. A recruiter who is white or Asian already knows that's an African name.
That's an African name, true.
So they already are thinking, I'm not smart enough. I am at the, because my people are at the lower end of education. I'm probably an immigrant. They have, it's just an unconscious bias that is in their head. How can I flip that around? I put beside my name, Adiola Olubamiji, PhD, PN.
Okay.
Why? Because I want to flip the card and let the person know that I may be an immigrant, but I'm a qualified immigrant.
Exactly.
I have a master's or a PhD. I'm a professional engineer. So that automatically switch this, it will switch it back. The switch will switch back to positive, right?
Exactly.
Because when he saw immigrant's name, he went back to flipping to 0. I switch it back by saying I have a PhD and I have a certified professional engineering license. Switch. Okay. Now going to location. In Canada, location is very critical to employers. Some employers don't want to pay relocation fees. So if you put that your location is in Nasarawa and you apply to Toronto, somebody's looking at that and say, no, into the trash, goodbye.
Into the trash, straight up.
Because if there are other people who live in that location, because they're not going to do any relocation assistance, they are priority. I'm not telling you to lie. I'm just telling you that if you're applying from another country, maybe it's even better to omit location. Or because you don't want to lie, you don't want to tell the truth. Or maybe it's good that you say permanent residents of Canada. Exactly. Maybe you are working on your express entry, you have passed through, you are giving you ITA. Now you feel like you want to start applying. Put permanent residents of Canada. Or put, because if you get the job, you are moving to that location, right? Yeah. So why should you put permanent residents of Canada or are willing to relocate? The reason is because the recruiter does not want to have to think about, do you have paper, do you not have paper? So if you are in the process of your express entry or something like that, just put that. Or if you are like, okay, I don't have paper, but I don't want them to know I don't have paper, don't put that. But location oftentimes hinder your ability to get that job because they don't want to pay for relocation. Now, I want to talk a bit about address. Some people will write their entire address. For safety, don't put your address on resume. Put your location if you are putting location. Toronto, Canada, Lagos, like that. Don't put your entire address because of security reasons. You don't want somebody to come and kill you at night or a serial killer. So because you distribute, I told you guys, I did 3,000 resumes and I job application. So there's no way I'm sending out my resume to 3,000 people with my address on it. That is a safety concern. So don't put your resume, but showcase your location. The next thing I want to talk about is your career profile or that profile area. Sometimes I see people, that profile area, all they talk about is what they want to get out of the position. Out of the first Nigerians, we are taught to be humble. We are taught to just humble ourselves and not, in this part of the world, you toot your own damn horn. You need to let them know what you're bringing to the table. Exactly. How many years of experience do you have? What are the roles you have? A project manager with 8 years of experience in the following thing. And what you want to let them know the skill set you have, vast or experience in, C++, R language, put everything there. In 6 seconds, the person needs to see the right keywords. Keywords is everything. So you can't be humble and forget the keywords. The keywords that are particular to your area because you've done market research. You know what they are looking for. You know the keywords they are mentioning there. You arrange them, you start arranging it slightly in your professional profile. Yeah. If the recruiter sees them, today this is how we catch you people. This is how you people use my resume. I was even going to add, but go on. Okay, go on. So and then you move on to, I call it highlights of qualification or core competence. Yeah. That highlights of qualification, I always group it into 3. Is the area where they today have columns. It has 3 columns. Those bullet points. My column 1, what I have there is soft skill. I'm an engineer. It is unexpected of me to have soft skills. And soft skills is one of the reasons why engineers have problems at work. Yeah. So when I highlight my soft skill, it makes them feel like this one will be easy to work with. It will not be one of those ones that just want to work with computers. So put your soft skills there. Then my second column, I put my software skills. All the softwares that I know how to use, I arrange them there. Then my last one, I put my characterization skills. So I have a minor in material science. So there are my characterization techniques that are important to my field. I arrange them there. In your case, it could be certification that is important to your field. Your third column, you put your CIPM, all of it, put it there. Yeah. Yeah. All the different certifications. So whoever is looking at that core competence, they get your soft skill, they get your computer skills, and they get your certification or characterization skills. All of those things, very small in one place, baggage, you have given it to them. Yeah. Then your education. People always ask me, hey, I have a lot of work experience. Why should I move my education before my work experience? Your education can be a good seller for you, especially if you have double degrees. So if you have 2 degrees or 3 degrees, education will only take 4 lines. Why should you move it to under work experience that will take 20 lines? Put it up, especially because it can actually boost your ability. So my suggestion is move your education up. If you have good grades, you know, your education should be 1 line. 1 line, oh. If you get a master's degree, master's from University of Windsor, and what year? If you have good grades, if you're a first-class student, put it in percentage, in column, what you have, because everybody wants to hire the smartest person.
Yeah.
If you don't have good grades, don't put anything. But if you know that I'm a qualified person, I'm smart. Why? Because you are Black. Already that bias is going to make them question whether you are good. You need to show in your resume that you are actually a dope Black person. You are really good. So all of these like under your one half page, you have finished them with all the skill sets, all the I am qualified, I have first class, everything. This is the school I went to. They are looking at it and they are smiling and saying, maybe I should read his work experience. Yeah. Now they want to move on to your work experience, and I always suggest use numbers. When you are quantify your work experience with numbers. So whatever you have done, you know, let them know the impact of that. So the work that you did it save the company money? How much? The work that you contribute to, is it a $50 million project? Let them know that you are not just a small person because you are coming from Nigeria. The projects you work on, they are good projects. They are huge projects. They have projects that are comparable to Canadian standards.
Exactly.
So, but when you are quantifying that, if you're applying to Canada, convert that money to Canadian dollars. So don't put there that your project was worth 20 million naira. Put there that your project was worth whatever the conversion is to dollars. So when they see that, okay, you may be coming from Africa, but you have all this very nice portfolio, it may ginger them to say, you know what, I'll call this person up. I want to know more. I want to speak with them. Yes, this is how I have lured recruiters to calling me, and because from that my resume, you have seen my worth. You see that I'm good, so I can now properly sell myself. When you call me, Tunde is still the HR person. He's the authority, so he's the one who's going to debunk or accept all my thinking. Thank you so much. I wanted to add 2 things to what you said, and something is I've found that even if you have not come from Nigeria, even if you're not yet in Canada, you can actually have phone interviews while you're in Nigeria, and this is how it's done. Like Dr. Addy said, first thing you want to do is you already know what city you want to move to, right? You already know what city you are going to move to. You want to actually put that on your resume. I'm coming to Toronto. I'm going to be in somewhere in Alberta, somewhere in BC. I'm going to be in those places. Whatever city it is, put it there. Once you identify the city, there's an app, and I'm trying to remember that app now, but it's not coming to the top of my head. So what you need to do is get that app, route your Nigerian number to a Canadian number. So it produces a number for you. That's what it does. It text me. Is it text me? It's not text me. It starts with D. It starts with D or E, something like that. But I'll get it and I'll send it to you so you can also share it as maybe a summary of this IG Live. So what you do is you create a Canadian number. Okay, I think, Fongo. You create a Canadian number. Dingtone, Fongo, there's a lot of them. You create a Canadian number. You route it to your Nigerian number. So when you call that Canadian number, it comes to your Nigerian number. And I've had people who have had interviews, phone interviews back in Nigeria, even while the recruiters are here in Canada. So what does that do? It gives you a sense of what the interview is like. It gives you a sense of what they are looking for in Canada, right? And when you know that, oh, my express entry is almost true, right? I'm almost at the rim of getting my PR. It's going to be approved very soon. You don't want to wait until you land before you actually face the recruitment process. You must have started from back home, right? So those 2 things, put the city you know you are going to be, put a Canadian number there. So it also gives them a sense of, oh, this person is in Canada. If you don't put a number there, you put an email, it becomes dodgy or sketchy, right? And if they send you an email asking for your contact, how do we contact you? You don't want to be sending a Nigerian number, really. So those 2 things are also very important. It also kind of gives the person a sense of, oh, this person is close by, this person is just nearby, and they will give you a call right away. So yeah, so thank you very much for all those things you said, Dr. Addy. Very, very important, very, very important.
And I'm just going to go to, I think, the next slide now, where we're going
Before
to
you
talk
go on,
yeah.
audience, can you start to tweet 3 things that you learned from this resume overall? I call it resume overall. Can you tweet us or Instagram us or Facebook
everything?
us, please? So we know what you've learned from this this session. Thank you.
Okay, so before I start this, I'm going to say one question that came with this was, should you use job agents when looking for jobs in Canada, right? And I'll tell you this, it boils down to something. It boils down to, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. It is very, very important. It is good to use job agents should the opportunity come. And why? Job agents look for jobs for you. Job agents get the job for you, the right fit for you. And they do this because they're going to get a cut out of that, right? You find that in Toronto, for instance, many tech professionals are getting jobs as quick as possible. The truth is, one reason is because their field is universal, right? If you are speaking JavaScript in Nigeria, you are speaking JavaScript in Toronto. However, there is also a lot of tech recruiters in Toronto, right? In Canada in general. And what this does is, if a recruiter gets a job for you, they get a job, maybe say has high paying at $60 an hour. They're going to get $10 an hour from that $60, and you go home with $50 an hour, right? Before, after tax, whatever. But that kind of helps them to go out there. Oh, I need to get this guy a job. I need to look for a job for this person, right? So using job agents is very important. If you're in Nigeria, if you're in Canada, using job agents is very important. And I've broken it down after research, putting it in two kind of, separate areas. One is job agents that recruit from inside Canada and are looking for talent outside Canada, and then job agents that are unique here in Canada. If you get into Canada, you're a new person, you're a new immigrant, you don't want to just start applying by yourself. If there's an opportunity to send your resume to job recruiters, register with them, do that. Don't wait, do that. Use all the mediums that you can, because and another good thing is job agents actually interview you themselves, right? They interview you, they review your resume, they tell you, oh, if this is what you're looking for, this is what your resume should look like, right? If this is what you want to end up with, this is what your resume should look like. And they actually prepare you before you go to the organization who wants to hire you, right? They talk to you, they tell you this skill set, you should mention this more, you should highlight this more, and this will help you. And like I said, it's scratch my back, I scratch your back, because at the end of the day, you get a job, they get a cut out of that pay. And which, in the long run, it's an experience for you, it's an add-on for you, it's an advantage to you, because you're getting experience out of that job. So,
and your resume, if I can interject, your resume gets better.
Exactly.
Your ability to interview and negotiate pay gets better. Because they are located here in Canada. So if they help you, they know the pay scale. You don't.
Exactly.
So they'll tell you this is how much you should be charging.
You should be charging,
and they will help you with your interview prep. They will help you. They'll look at your resume that you're bringing. Even if somebody like me has done the resume for you, or help you to make sure it's good, they still make sure they do their due diligence, making sure it's well programmed for that.
Okay, so I'm just going to, having said that, I'm just going to look at, so I've done a thread of this before. Dr. Addy already has these slides and she's going to share it afterwards. But these are like the major international recruitment agencies you can find out there. And they are just, very close to you through Google. Just Google them, go online and search for them. Michael Page is one of them. They're located in Toronto, right? And the industry that they cover, they look out for is people in banking and finance, people who are into the digital space, e-commerce, engineering and manufacturing that you talked about, human resources, IT, marketing and sales. So they hire professionals for these industries, right? The next one you want to look at is Island Recruiting, and they are located in Prince Edward Island. The industry is home care, so people who always ask about, can I get job in home care, and administrative roles as well, right? And their candidates are human resources professionals, caregivers. The third one is Canada Connect. They are in Winnipeg. And the good thing about these recruitment agencies is they are diverse, right? They are in different locations in Canada, and they hire for different industries. So that's good. So you will always find one that is peculiar to you. You will always find one that is peculiar to you. Third one is Canada Connect, which I talked about. So they have the industry they look out for is engineering, agri, and healthcare. And their candidates are professionals, skilled positions, low skilled positions, engineers, and caregivers. And you have Renard International. They are in Toronto as well. The hospitality industry, although the hospitality industry is taking a hit right now because of COVID. So I don't know, you can definitely still try, your best on that. And you have Global Hire, who are in Edmonton. They're also in Calgary, and they're also in Alberta. The industry is healthcare, trucking, welding, and skilled labor. I always get requests from people who always ask on Twitter as well, how can, like a welder, like somebody who drives a truck, come to Canada? This is your go-to. Reach out to Global Hire, ask them what is required of me to come from outside Canada, to be able to get a job in Canada. His Recruitment in Canada as well. They're in Vancouver, Edmonton, Toronto, and Montreal. They are kind of big, so they cover, a number of cities. And you have Work Global Canada. They're in St. John. The industry is engineering. It seems engineering is taking the lead here, and I don't know why.
Because we are money makers. Know that. I'm kidding, guys.
I think so, yeah. So, yeah, and the candidates, professional, skilled positions, low skilled positions, even engineers, agriculture, and caregivers. And you have Alliance Online, and Winnipeg. The industries are Greek, so people always talk about agriculture, farming, all that. Alliance Online is there for you. And you have Drake International. The first time I saw Drake International, I thought it belonged to the musician Drake, but it's not. So they're just a recruitment agent, and they are located in Toronto. The industry is their candidates is also diverse. Admin, finance, sales and marketing, drivers, IT and engineering, human resources, and warehousing. You have hire immigrants. The name speaks for itself. They hire basically immigrants, and they are located in Toronto, and the industry is all, right? And you have Outpost Recruitment, which is in Vancouver as well. The industry, again, is construction and engineering. And you have Cowan International. They are in Montreal. So they will probably be looking more at candidates that can speak French. And they are for engineering, construction industries, and candidates that are related to this industry. So like I said, it's very important to also reach out to these recruitment agencies. You never know. You really never know. Reach out to them. Send them an email. Go to their website. Some of them actually need you to register with them, upload your resume. And like Addy said, indicate on your resume. I'm already in the pool. I already got my permanent residence. I'll be moving to the city next month. So and so. Give them as much detail as possible, right? Just to strike that conversation. And when that happens, you begin to share vital information that can actually help you securing a job before you move to Canada, or even when you get to Canada.
Tunde, we have 4 more minutes. Are you able to join us for the second hour?
I'll try. I should be able to.
Thank you. So, people, we have 4 more minutes, and I want us to still answer a few questions. Maybe we'll let Tunde pause once he finishes this one with agents. Then we'll spend the remaining minutes asking questions. Okay, no problem. Are you done?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to go because I have 4 minutes, and I don't think I'll finish the next slides in 4 minutes, so we can just
I have a few questions. And people, if you have questions that we can cover in 4 minutes, please, on this topical, please drop them. I want to ask about, what about those people who need job offer to boost their PMP? This agency, can they help them find not just the job, but a company that will give them LMIA?
Exactly. So that's what these recruitment agencies are for. They recruit outside Canada, and what they do is they facilitate that process for you, right? So you get the job, and then they process that LMIA. But then most of them, though, some of them are not peculiar to Africa. A few of them are, looking for people in Honduras. A few of them are looking for people in Mexico. A few of them are looking for people, in South America, Asia, not necessarily Africa. And some of them, though, are open to anywhere in the world. Exactly. And like I said, it's about striking the conversation. It's about letting them understand. If you are not yet in the pool, right, and you want a job offer to be able to make that employer facilitate the LMI, these recruiters are also there for. And like I said, that's what they are made for. Outside employment, get people from outside Canada. Exactly.
Great.
Exactly.
So people, let's round up. Let's do a little recap. This 1 hour, we've talked about a couple of topics. I started with telling us about you really understanding how do I map my degree? What are the careers that are available? If you are already an experienced person, I believe you already map your degree. If you have map your degree, but you need to remap because you feel like you want to transition, I want you to start to think about that. And this weekend, do that assignment, please. Then the second thing we talked about was we really understanding what is a career portfolio, how to do a market research, how to define your functional areas, and start to collate and collect your skill sets. Tunde took it from me. He talked to you about resumes. So once you map your career, you know the skill sets. Now you put it into the resume in a way that is 6 seconds resume kind of resume. He talked about chronological, functional, and combined resume. And he talked about how can you use an agent in Canada or outside of Canada to get you not just the job, but the LMIA. We have less than 30 seconds. I hope that if this live finishes, you all call back in because we have a loaded session. We still have something left. I want to also answer your questions. So please call back if this live cuts. Tunde, you are awesome. Like I said, if I was single, I would be I would just come and I would attend. You know, in Yoruba, I go attend to see me. I go to pay extra. This time is follow. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you very much. Such kind words though. Thank you.
Thank you for all the things you do for us. So I'll just end it so that I can save it. And then I'll call back right away.
Awesome.
Thank you. Hello everyone. I hope everything is going on well so far.
We are back.
We're back.
Yeah.
People, we're waiting for you. Please come on. Today, it's only 1 hour that he borrowed us. Now I have reached and collected another time from him.
No problem.
You can start and get the slide. So
no problem. Okay, so I'm just going to start. So we already talked about the recruitment agencies in Canada that look out for people outside Canada. So these are recruitment agencies in Canada that actually hire people in Canada. There are a lot of, so let me start by saying there are a lot of recruitment agencies in Canada, and most of them are peculiar to the cities you belong to. But then these are the ones that I know that are very good. Some of them here are not in Toronto. Some of them here are everywhere, right? So I'm just going to cover them. So one of them is Access. So Access is much more than a recruitment agency. Access is like an NGO as well. Access is that platform that kind of helps you to ease into the Canadian labor market, right? They help you with your resume. They assign somebody to you who is going to, like a career coach, right? They assign somebody to you who is going to walk you through your resume. Somebody is going to coach you on interview, right? So they do all that. And they've been very, very good at doing that. West has worked with them a lot of times. West has recognized them for that good job. They've helped a lot of newcomers, right? And that's why I put them as number one. And the others, it's really, I've just arranged them. It's not by importance. So the next one is Apex Life Sciences. So if you are into science and engineering field, you land yourself in Canada, you're looking for a job in this field, reach out to Apex Life. If you must have put all the consideration we talked about on resumes, you must have put that into consideration, you must have done that, you must have had a resume overhaul, you must have, produced a top-notch resume before you reach out to these guys too as well. So that way it reduces their own, it just kind of helps you,
so to speak, and kind of create a good relationship. So the next one is the Judge Group. So they look at tech and healthcare field. Generally, you have the Select Group. So they have different roles and different fields. You have Aquent, you have Procom. So Procom, I'm going to talk about Procom. Procom, I know very well. Procom is in Toronto. Procom is very good. If you're in the tech field, you move to Canada, Procom is your go-to. And the good thing with Procom is they are connected with a lot of the big fives. They are connected with BMO, Scotia, TD, name it. They are connected with the big players, right? And Procom will really help if you're in tech field. Submit your resume to them, create a profile with them. Walk into the offices, talk to somebody there. They're going to Procom will practically hold your hand till you get a job. Let's just put it that way. And you have Vitamin T. Vitamin T looks at the creative field. So my digital folks, the people in media, you go to Vitamin T, they will definitely do a very good job as well. You have TMH Recruitment, they are diverse. You have Aerotech, you have David Alpin Group, you have Randstad. So Randstad is another big agency in Canada. Randstad is everywhere. Randstad is in Kitchener, Waterloo. Randstad is everywhere. So Randstad is another recruitment agency you want to register with. Another one is Adventis, and then you have Penecon. So all these guys that I've listed here, if you find yourself in Canada, an immigrant, new in Canada, no job yet, put all the resume tricks and hacks that we've talked about, put that into consideration, do that, reach out to these guys. And something I always say to people is this: you will not get something sitting in your comfort zone. You will not get something just chilling and applying online. It won't work that way. You have to go out. Speak with people, walk into the offices of these folks, right? If hopefully maybe you have a part-time job you are doing just to make ends meet, pay bills and all that, set some days aside. Okay, this particular day, I'm going to go out. I'm going to, go to maybe 3 of these agencies that are close by to each other, walk into them, dress professionally, of course, go into them, tell them what I'm looking for. And you'll be very surprised at the outcome, right? Many times we get what we want by just leaving our comfort zone. We might necessarily not get what we want by just sitting down. And I used one good example of what happened to me when I was in school and I was looking for somebody to interview, for a human resources project. I needed to interview somebody who already had 5 years experience, right? But I was going to LinkedIn, sending good professional emails, doing cold calls, talking to human resources professionals that I found online who were in Canada, who were in Kitchener-Waterloo area. Guess what? I couldn't find one person, right? Until I dressed up one morning, wore my suit and tie, and I left the school. I said, you know what? I'm going to Kitchener downtown. All the offices in this place, I must find a human resources person to interview. And that was how it happened. It was the 5th place I went to. And the person I interviewed, I never would have imagined that I would sit in front of that person. She was the director of human resources of the Kitchener-Waterloo board, right? It was astonishing. She was like, for you to actually leave school, come to a place like this and just say you want to speak with any human resources person is actually very impressive. I would love to speak with you. Please come to my office, right? And that was how I got it. And when I submitted the assignment, my co-op lecturer said, "How did you get this person? You are in Nigeria. You are an immigrant in this country. Even the other Canadians in your class, they didn't get somebody like this." And it all boils down to leave your comfort zone, go out there, speak to people. You'll be very surprised at what is out there for you. So I'll go to the next one, which is job banks and sites.
You people, help me slow down today.
Okay.
Let me ask them, guys. Did you see that I'm extracting Tunde's brain for you? We are downloading the brain into a flash drive, the memory stick for you guys. I hope that what is sharing, you are not just listening to it, that you are writing stuff down. I hope after this, you are going to tell me I wrote down 5 pages. I wrote down 7 pages. I want to know the number of pages you are written down, because these are wonderful, wonderful information that people pay for. So, and it's because we have your best interest at hand. So please remember how the order is. For those people outside of Canada, the first ones are what you should look at.
Yeah.
So ones who are already in Canada is the second one.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to DIY. People don't want to choose anybody. Please make sure to note the other. And like I said before, please, we want you to tweet at us. We want you to tweet at us, and we want you to mention us on your Instagram story, so that your neighbor and your friends and your colleagues can also join this live, so that we can impact more people. You know, the more the merrier. And the joy, when I try to make my slides on Thursday night, the joy, you know, yesterday, when did I send this slide to you? 3 a.m.
Yes. I was
stayed
like, oh my
awake
God, doesn't
until
doctors
3 a.m.
yeah.
making these slides for you. So I want somebody else apart from you that you know to benefit. So the littlest thing you can do for us is to tweet, is to take a snapshot of this, is to put it on your Instagram live, your Facebook, so that more people can get access to this knowledge for free. I'm hoping that you're going to do that for us. Today, and if you have not dropped your email, you want all these slides, you don't need to redrop them. My PAs have collected them, but if you've not dropped it, drop it so that you can take these materials and utilize them on your own, so that you can absorb them more. I'm going to share this on YouTube. So for people who don't have data, you can download it to your computer. You can rewatch Tunde's fine face again whenever you have time. And my makeup, you can comment on it whenever you have time. So I'll make sure it's on YouTube and available to you guys. Sorry, Tunde, you can keep going.
No problem. So thank you, Dr. Addy. So I think I'll just go to, so I have two more things to talk about. The third one here is job banks and sites. So usually, what sites can you go to look for a job apart from the normal recruiters, right? Apart from the agencies that we've talked about. One is, I won't talk so much about LinkedIn because I think Dr. Addy is going to talk about that, and I think she's covered some aspect of that already. Indeed. So number one is Indeed. So everybody knows Indeed, right? Indeed.ca is a repository of different roles, different jobs that you want, that you're looking for. A lot of employers use Indeed. I have used Indeed also in the past week to hire people. And one thing that a lot of people don't know with Indeed is this. And I have to kind of let you see me, so I'll talk about it. So there's a feature on Indeed, right, on the side of the recruiter, where they can filter the most recent resumes. And the most recent meaning that not the person who just uploaded, but the person who just updated their resume. So you might have created a profile on Indeed in January. We're in May already. That's the 5th month, right? The recruiter goes to Indeed today, and he wants to see resumes. He can filter by the last 3 months. So which is, say, March, right? So he will see people who have updated their resume, not people who have added their resume, updated. And updated meaning you've changed an action word, right? You've gone there, you've removed the particular role and changed, you tweaked it, right? That is updated, not necessarily uploading, right? He will see the people who have done that in the past 3 months. But guess what? You uploaded your resume in January. You did not change anything. You left it as is, right? He wouldn't see your resume. He will reach out to the people who have updated their resume just this past 3 months. And what does that do? That actually makes them choose people who are constant, who are relevant now, because they believe, if you have updated your resume in the past 3 months, that means you're actively looking for a job, right? And that's what actually happens with Indeed. So I'd say Indeed is a very good place to go to. But like I said, make sure you update your profile, every now and then. ZipRecruiter is another good one that also kind of feeds off Indeed. So there are a lot of similar roles that you find on Indeed that you also find on ZipRecruiter. And one good thing with ZipRecruiter is it also kind of gives you the breakdown of the price, the salary expectation of what you're looking for, right? So you have an idea. So it also kind of helps you in your negotiation, right? Another thing is most people, they don't target their job search. You want to go to the organization's career page, right? If I want to work in the tech industry, what will I do? The first thing I'll do is I want to Google in that city. For instance, I'm going to say Regina. Can I find what are the top top 10 tech companies in Regina. Once I get those top 10 countries, companies, you know what I'll do? I'll go to each of their career pages. I will look and see what jobs they have. Because mind you, as much as you have LinkedIn, as much as you have Indeed, many of these organizations also don't post on those third-party, sites. They post strictly on their own career page, right? Because one thing they want to do is first, they try to see if they can get anybody within the organization. And if they don't get anybody within the organization, then they go out there, right? Before they actually think of those other third-party platforms. So you want to also go to the organization's career page, comb through it, search through it, apply through those pages. And, you'll be very surprised at what can come out of it. And the last one is LinkedIn. There are a lot of recruiters in LinkedIn. One feature I always also tell people to enable on their LinkedIn is I'm available for work, right? I'm available for new opportunities. Some recruiters just quickly scan through and they see that, oh, this person is available for an opportunity, and then they just reach out immediately, right? And I've seen a lot of that, like emails and all that. Are you looking for an opportunity? And I ask, what is the opportunity about? If I see it's not really a profound career growth that will really make a huge change in my present role, then there's no point, right? But if you enable that feature, it's very, very good. And something you have to notice this, we don't have the same view the recruiters at the back end have. We don't. So you have to do as much as possible to optimize your page. Like Dr. Addy has mentioned earlier, optimize it, and you'll be very surprised at what can come out of it. And lastly, are we talking about?
I have two other ones there.
Yes, please.
I want to have Simply Hired. And
okay, yeah.
Glassdoors.
Yeah.
I've used Glassdoor. Actually,
Okay.
this current job, I found it on Glassdoor. Really.
Nice.
So I feel like guys, one of the reasons why I like Glassdoor is that Glassdoor gives you a range of pay. So you can also see kind of, okay, what is the range of pay? What I usually do though is when I see the range of pay on Glassdoor, I'll add $30,000 to that.
Oh, nice.
And then I'll start my negotiation from that, because last will end up in the upper range, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I felt like it offers you more than just applying. It makes you know what should you expect in terms of pay.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Alrighty. So, and finally, talking about finding hidden jobs. So, something you should know is this: not all jobs are posted. As much as about 80 to 85% jobs are posted online on the career page, on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on Glassdoor. Some jobs are still hidden. People get hired before the jobs even get posted. And one important way that you find such hidden jobs is through network, right? Word of mouth. The one of the most powerful tools you can use to actually move from one state of unemployment to being employed is through network. I always say something: your clique, your network, your people, whatever association you belong to, they will think about you first before they think about anybody outside, that clique. So what you want to do is network, ask people, right? So the job I got when I was leaving Kitchener from my role at the insurance company I talked about before I moved to the Big Five was through network. I basically just spoke to somebody and said, I am moving to Toronto, and that was it, right? And he mentioned, oh, there's a role that's opening, but they haven't yet posted it, right? And I said, oh, why not? Let me put in my application before it gets posted, right? And before we could say Jack, I had met the VP and all that, and before I knew it, I already got the job. So, like I said, network, ask questions, ask people. There are people in the same role you are trying to get into, right? You might go on LinkedIn and not look for a job, but look for somebody in that role, right? If I go to LinkedIn, there are numerous people I can find that are Nigerians that are in human resources. I can reach out to them. Send them professional emails, nicely written. Hi, I'm moving to so city in the fall of 2020. Are there things I should expect? Do you have openings at your place? All those type of things, and you'll be very surprised at how that can get you, what you need. Another thing is professional association. So I belong to the Human Resources Professional Association here in Canada. It's an association that oversees the human resources, code of conduct, certifications, and whatnot. So what happens is we usually have regular meetings. We usually have regular seminars, workshops, and all that. And what happens? We meet different people, from different backgrounds in different fields and industry. So it helps us to share knowledge. It helps us to ask questions. It helps us to kind of ask for what we need. Right. In some of those group works that we do in that association, I can easily ask somebody, excuse me, my role, I've probably spent maybe 5 years in my role. I'm looking for a change. What do you advise? You're very surprised. The person might tell you, oh, there's actually a role coming up. Maybe you would like to speak with this person. And, all those kind of things are always spontaneous. They're always spontaneous. Right. And before you know it, one thing leads to the other, you get a job, right, that you're looking for, So network, join a professional association that is, related to your field, talk to people. It could even be in your church. It could be in your church. It could be in your mosque, talk to people. That's how you find hidden jobs, because many times people are still trying to process the need of posting a job. Do I need to post this job or not? But when somebody approaches them and say, oh, I'm actually looking for this, and I'm this, oh, actually somebody talked about this. Let me talk to them.
Guys, to the left, we'll try and see if he calls back, okay? Still on eating jobs, while we wait for Tunde to come back, let me add a few points. Okay, he's already showed interest. Let me accept him to come back in. It's coming back in. So I'll start adding the point before we admit Tunde back.
What happened? Who pushed me out?
I don't know. It's not me.
Okay, I'm back, guys.
Okay, welcome back. I wanted to add a few points today, if it's okay.
Okay, sure.
Eating jobs. So
yes.
My first job in Canada was an eating job, actually. Okay. Before I graduated, when we had oil and gas recession in Canada, so there were no jobs. That's why I had to do all those 3,000 applications. Apart from applying, so what I did was I mapped out 3 industries that can take my qualification after I have my portfolio. And those 3 industries, I chose 3 provinces where I could move to from Saskatchewan. Nice. And then I now collated all the different companies that falls under that industry per province. So I had like an Excel table. Nice. Some of those companies that didn't have opening. What I did was on their pages, there are options for you to sometimes drop your resume. They don't need anybody now. Exactly. If I go through their profile and I see that this company can use my skill sets, what they do is related to what I can do. I'll just pick that area where I can drop my profile. I just dropped my profile. I did that a lot. Another thing that I have done, I forgot the name. I'll send it. So there's a website where I think it's Alup or Hulu. I'll find the name. So if I put the name of a company on that website in their search tab, it will give me email addresses of people who work in that company, that organization, in management positions or HR. So when I'm looking desperately, I said I want to connect with somebody from this company. I wrote to them on LinkedIn, nobody's answering. Okay, I will just go on that website, put in the name of the company. Sometimes different names and email addresses comes up. So what I did was I went to that website. I put in the name of the company because I really like that company. And I've been doing it, right? And then the name that came up was was a CTO of that company, the Chief Technical Officer. Yeah. So I copied the email. I put my portfolio together, resume, some of the things I have done. So I had a portfolio. As an engineer, a good portfolio which shows what characterization techniques you can use, what sort of projects you work on that is related to what they do. So I sent him an email, my resume and my portfolio with a short note, 2 paragraphs. And guess what? Within 24 hours, this man contacted me. And said that he's not into anything of this, but he will send this to HR. So he forwarded it to HR and he CC'd me. And he asked HR to look at this profile, especially the portfolio, is very attractive. So
Nice.
HR people contacted me and said, we're actually we're still thinking about a role, but we are about to finalize it. And we're hoping to hire maybe next month. So that's how I got my first interview with them. And that's the job I ended up with.
Nice.
So what's the point here? Some roles are not open yet, like Tunde said, but the company can use your skill. If there's a place where you can drop your resume on their website, drop it there. If they're really convinced that they can use your skill set, as in the package you get the name of that website. Go and find somebody, whether from LinkedIn or from using that website. Find their email. Don't only send your resume. If you have a portfolio like me, where you have everything you know, like I have a lot of things I know on additive, with nice pictures of images and all my imaging processing skills that I couldn't fit on my resume, I put it in my portfolio, I emailed it out. Because email sometimes is an opportunity for you to get your foot in the door. If it's too long, they're not going to read it.
Yeah.
But if it has the right content, and when they click on the attachment, they see something that is exciting.
Exactly.
They may say, okay, we will keep this applicant. When we have opening, we will release it. Or maybe they actually have something that they're thinking about. So that's a way to get hidden job. Another one that has really helped me is volunteering. So I volunteer a lot in different non-for-profit. I even own a non-for-profit. I sit on boards of non-for-profit. What this does is I connect with professionals in those different volunteering activities.
Yeah.
And a lot of those professionals are big shots. They're directors, they're VPs, and they now know me on personal levels because we are volunteering together, or we are running a marathon together and working. So they get to know me. So when I need help, when my husband needs help, they will volunteer and say, can I have his resume? I know somebody at some place that can help. Or if I need a job, they'll be happy to help me. So my point there is volunteerism is a thing. In Canada, we don't always wait for what is it that I can get from this. We do, it's part of what makes Canada great.
Yeah.
Do for people without expecting them to do back. Exactly. What we are doing today is an example of that. Me and Tunde selflessly donating our time to make materials and share. This is what Canadians do. This is the value that this country has provided to us and embedded in us, and that's why we're doing this. Another thing that I have used apart from volunteerism, which gives me access to a lot of things, is I'm going to talk about LinkedIn a lot next. So on LinkedIn, there are groups so I'm an additive manufacturing specialist. So there are, if you go on LinkedIn, and in the search tab, you put your profession there. He will give you option whether you want to search name, jobs, groups, and stuff like that. Click on that group. All the groups related to your profession, go and join them. But put location. Make sure you put Canada as the location if you are hoping to connect to professionals in Canada. Join those groups. So now if you could be connecting to 20,000, 40,000 of them in the group. And let me tell you, there are also headhunters in that group. Headhunters that are hiring specifically for your fields, they are in that group. So when posts come up that are related to what you know, you have to comment responsibly. Be an active member of that group. As you become active, people start to notice you. They'll click on your profile. Now they're interested in who you are because you sound intelligent. You sound to know what you are doing. That gives you access to them. So if jobs are happening, those recruiters, they post those jobs in those groups. They'll post jobs and say, hey, I'm looking for this person. And then now you have access to first-hand information from recruiters, and now you are connected to thousands of professionals in your field. So I want you to really intentionally go on LinkedIn, under groups, put your profession, and join all the necessary group in the right location, which is if you're coming to Canada, that's Canada for you. If you're in Nigeria, that's Nigeria for you. Why is that important now? There is COVID. We can't really volunteer. We can't go outside to church. You can't really go to any networking event right now. But networking is happening on LinkedIn still. People are more active on LinkedIn than they have been before COVID. Now, everything is moving to virtual. So there are opportunities waiting to be tapped. So this is a good time to join those groups and start to participate and leave adequately the right footprint that can hand you a score. So I will not give you all the hints about LinkedIn, but those are the things that I have used that have helped me with finding those different hidden jobs. Some of them I turned down. Some of them also help me know what my work is. maybe I'm being underpaid or not. So I can go and fight my boss and get
Yeah.
So today, is that everything under that?
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Guys,
it.
I know that you want to ask questions, but we need to upload everything because I still have LinkedIn to go through. I'm going to move on and do 15 minutes of LinkedIn optimization. This LinkedIn optimization people pay for, so I want you to listen attentively and let's walk each other through how should you make your LinkedIn in order to maximize the profit or the benefit that it can offer you. Give me a second as I try to look for the slide. Okay, that's my first slide. I think it was supposed to be the second one. No, all right. Give me a second. All right. So that's my first slide. It may be a little small, but it's about statistics. I want you to kind of have a few reasons why you should maximize LinkedIn. Like I explained in the beginning of the conversation, LinkedIn allows you, it gives you 8% chance of getting a job, while applying online gives you 3% chance. So LinkedIn gives you double or more the chance of you getting a job. So you must have a LinkedIn page. And not only should you have it, it must be optimized and you must maximize the benefit, right? So LinkedIn has over 133 million professionals in the US alone, and is available in over 200 countries, including countries in Africa. So 80% of the jobs that get filled are through people you know. You may be wondering, most people that I have on my LinkedIn, I don't technically know them. But let me tell you, you technically know them, and I will tell you why and how. So the other thing that I want to mention is on LinkedIn, there is no single ranking. You know, on Google search, there could be SEO, right? They've optimized their SEO. So if you put anything regarding that, their own page is what comes up. In LinkedIn, there is nothing like that. You can, there's no one single ranking.
Yeah.
So the searches are based on the behavior of the user, which is you, right? So how you use LinkedIn is going to be the reason why your name pop up first or pop up last when the recruiter is really looking. So going back to the last one of, okay, search behavior matters, right? You have to be able to utilize your LinkedIn. I want to talk about profile views. So how can I make sure that when a recruiter Google that they are looking for professionals like me, I will pop up? One of the things to note is profile views. If you have a lot of profile views on LinkedIn, you will be one of the first people to come up during the search. So if you are doing anything now that is making, so every week, LinkedIn allows you to know how many profile views you have. So if you look at your LinkedIn on a weekly basis, you have 100 or less profile view, you are not visible. You are less likely to be visible if a recruiter is trying to find somebody for a particular job. So we need to look at what are the strategies required for us to optimize your LinkedIn so that you can be more visible. So I'll be sharing a couple of those. And the first one that I want you to keep in mind is this. If a recruiter Google, they go on the search and say they are looking for somebody. You know, on LinkedIn, we have first connection, second connection, third connection, and stuff like that. So if they are looking for somebody, the first people that comes up on their list are the people that are first connections. So if they are looking for employees in a particular field, the first people they will see are the people connected to them by first connection. After that, they will now start to see people connected to them as second connection, or people who are not connected to them, but they are connected to people who are connected to them. So if I'm connected to Tunde now on LinkedIn, and one of Tunde's friend, a recruiter, is looking for a manufacturing engineer, and she puts it in a search box, I will show up because I'm connected to Tunde. Why are you hearing this? Because if you have less than 500 professional connections on your LinkedIn, you are not maximizing LinkedIn. You will not come up during searches, and this may be hindering your professional or career advancement. This may be the reason why you are not getting the job that you have been looking out for. That's why the fact that your LinkedIn page is very dope. Yes, it's very dope, but you don't have a lot of connections. Those connections that you have, they are all Nigerians. You are trying to apply to job in Canada, and you don't have anybody who lives in Canada on your LinkedIn. If they have recruiter friends, if you are connected to Tunde, me, and all of the other professionals, especially in your fields in Canada, when recruiters who are connected to them are looking for people, you show up in the search results, which makes it easy for them to now catch you if your LinkedIn profile is fully optimized and eye-catching. Now, let's go on to an eye-catching one. I have a picture here of a very beautiful lady with a good optimized LinkedIn with 5 things I need you to pay attention to here. The branded background photo. If you're an engineer, I don't have to on my LinkedIn because I don't need a job right now. I don't have a background photo. But in fact, somebody is currently creating one for me. That background photo, because it's your headline. It's like when we talk about resume, that's the first thing they see. First impression matters. If there's nothing there, so you're not advertising well. But if there's something there that showcases maybe you're a manufacturer, award-winning manufacturing engineer, that recruiter is now looking, which award did you win, right? So you need that branded background photo with a tagline. So go on Canva and create a nice background thing for yourself and put it there to properly manage your LinkedIn and really use it to attract people. Then the second one is a good headshot. I must tell you that Nigerians are one of the dopest people when it comes to good headshots. We wear our suits and look like, again, I'm ready for this. So I'm not even taking much on that because I know you are doing a great job. The third one is attention getting headline. If your headline is not looking right, or you know the way we say multi-talented, there's nothing like that. We want you to be specific, crisp, straight to the point with not only, I'll talk more about that in my following slides. And then the fourth thing is contact information, right? So if somebody's trying to give you a job and you don't have contact information and there's no email, how would they contact you if that person actually likes your stuff? It's more professional when you have contact information. Like I said, if you follow me on LinkedIn, like when you people start to follow me, I told you, I don't really use LinkedIn, but it's still easy to access me. I still have my contact information. So number 4 is you need 500, minimum of 500 professional connections in your field. Not just because Dr. Addy is a professional, I'm connected to her. You need to target your connection. Connect to the right people who are in the right location for you based on the previous comment that I passed. Now, let me move on quickly to the next slide. How do I improve my searchability? You have now known I have nice headshots. Some of you already have the branded background, and you are wondering, what do I do better? So what you should do better, how to enhance your searchability, focusing on the headline. Keywords matters. Every profession has their different keywords. Are you using the right keywords? Because your headline is the first place that the recruiter sees, apart from your friend face and your background. You want to put your best foot forward there. So you may be jobless right now. So I'm on the left here, on the right, I'm giving an example of a lot of things in headline for unemployed people. They just put the unemployed at unemployed. Are you on Facebook that you're saying unemployed at unemployed? What's that? This is LinkedIn. We package that shit, guys. We need to package it. So you cannot say unemployed and unemployed or just say something like that. No, it's not allowed on LinkedIn because your profile is not going to be searchable. You don't appear serious. So on the left side, I'm showing you some good examples of how your headline should look, how you should market yourself well. You know, if you can, like the second one is one that I like the most. It puts senior digital marketing manager / and now it puts some skills there. Some skills that he probably had done market research. He realized those areas are the functional areas. The functional areas that they are looking for, he just put all the functional areas there. So everything you did in your market and in your portfolio creation, this is where you use them. If all those functional areas, you load them up. After you put your title, you load them up. Another thing that I want to mention here is use standard titles. The name will call things in Canada may be different from what it is called in Nigeria.
Yeah.
An example is Science Lab Tech. In Nigeria, we call that course Science Laboratory Technology. In Canada, it's called another name. And Science Lab Tech can go in multiple dimensions, biotechnology and so on and so forth. If you use a name that is not standard to that country, you are not shooting yourself appropriately, because when they search for that keyword, your name is not going to come up because your standard title is not standard. If your company gave you some bogus title, put it there, or put the standard titles, the standard name, and in brackets, put what your company gave you in brackets. Or you do it the other way. But just make sure that you have that standard title that is searchable on your profile, because if you don't, you will not be searchable. Please make sure you don't blow your headline, because it is really one of the things that affects your searchability. Now, let's move on to the second one, career summary. I hope everyone is getting the explanation. So I always say on LinkedIn, Nigerians are very proper. When we're not proper at all. When we're proper, we are sometimes overly proper.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, they want to relate to you. It's like a relaxed form of your resume, right? So they want you to write like you speak. I'm not saying when you write, you go and do as in like, no, don't do that. But write in a manner that flows, but in a manner that somebody can read it like they are reading a story. When you are filling your summary, I want you to think about highlighting your present or recent experience. Let's say you have left your job. What was your recent experience like? What value did you bring to the table? How many years of experience collectively do you have in that field? I want you to talk about some of the key highlights of that your career. Put it there. I'm going to show you my own my summary very soon. So you have to highlight your success. If due to the work that you have done, some good things happen, like I talk about impactful resume, show the impact. Your project is a multi-millionaire project. You are leading, whatever. And under LinkedIn right now, there is an area called feature, right? There is feature where you can load up on your media features. Maybe you did a TED Talk like I did. You can put it there. All the different words, you can put it there. Whatever you did that shows results, that shows that this person is credible. You want to put it there. Also, if you have certifications, sometimes when I look at Nigerians' name on their name, they put their name, then they put PhD, PNG, PPPPPP, like people waiting. It's too much. It's too much. You need to cut it down to the ones that are relevant to what you have on your LinkedIn. Some of these certifications, you took them. You don't actually need them. You just took them, okay? So you don't have to have 16 of those things there. Or if you did like in IT, they would do Oracle, I mean, what is it called? There are levels to it. CCNA, CCMP.
Yeah.
We all know that you can't get CCMP if you didn't do CCNA. Why do you have to say CCNA, CCMP? Just put CCMP. We already know that you won't get CCMP without CCNA. Don't put bachelor's, master's, PhD. Everybody knows that if you have a PhD, you probably have a bachelor's. You may not have a master's, but you have a bachelor's. That's good enough. Put PhD is over. Stop putting all this, because it makes your LinkedIn too dense. Okay, so we want it to be simple, readable, and relatable. So please remove all those 16 things that you have behind your name and leave 2 to 3 maximum. Story along, that's the way to go. And when you write your career summary, please show a little thing that you do outside of work. When we get to my own, you'll see how I put it there. I showed about STEM Hub. I talk about my career coaching. I talk about my awards. Apart from the fact that I feel like I'm dope at work, there are other things that my life has, because it shows work-life capability, work-life balance. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm trying to find examples. So I only use my own example. It's very small. I have 3 examples. You get it in slides. So when you look at mine, I have my career and all the jargons related to my career as the first 2 paragraphs. Everything else is about everything else that I do. My awards, STEM Hub, my career development platform, my consulting company, I put them there. I know it's a lot. I always tell people, if it's more than 300 words, now it's too much. If it's less than 300 words, it's still acceptable if it's interesting to read. But if you can cut it down to like 200, it's fine. Some of us, we like to show off small, because in this part of the world, you gotta show up. If you don't show off, people are going to just use hand and buy segment. The reason for that is because we are Blacks. We need to show that we're qualified. So this is my media feature area. The feature area, what does it really bring to the table here? It helps you command respect, especially for foreign workers, right? You have worked in another country. When they see that, TV feature, you have a TEDx talk, all of those things, it commands respect, it shows results, and it shows credibility. Even if you don't live in Canada yet, when people see that you are a queen where you're coming from, or you have very nice certification, or, showing some of if you have publications, you're a researcher, all of these things, put them in your feature. It's important. Load up on your certification, load up on all the research papers that you've published on LinkedIn. Please, so I beg you with the name of God, don't be humble. So now, still on how do I optimize my LinkedIn, I have a couple of points so that have worked for me. I'm trying to get a job through LinkedIn, or I want to optimize my LinkedIn so that recruiters can find me. One of the things that have worked for me in my career, not only for looking for a job, is informal interviews. Informal interviews are what you conduct when you ask somebody to tell you about what they are working on, their job. Like, okay, I do a lot. So when I wanted to enter into additive manufacturing, I reached out to 4 people who are currently at that point doing what I want to do, and told them about myself, that I was about to finish my PhD, and I'm seeking counsel to ensure that I am well positioned for jobs. And people love talking about themselves. It makes them feel good when you tell them you read their profile and they are where you want to be in 2 years, and that you would like to talk to them to make sure you are positioning properly. Or you are relocating to Canada, you are in the process, and this is the profession that you are getting into or you are currently working in. You would like to know how it works in Canada to properly position. People love talking about themselves. I feel like if you have been connected to them through a group and you have followed them, when you send them that 500 request, you left a personalized note letting them know you are in their field, you are in Nigeria, you are relocating to Canada in a few months. You wanted to connect with them to start to know the professionals in your field who lives in Canada. They will accept. That personal note is like striking a coffee conversation. Now, if you now belong to the same group, they accept. So when you ask them for, I want informal interviews, they will accept. You need those informal interviews because during those informal interviews, those people can connect to you even on a deeper level. They may say, there are jobs that are opening up in my company. I see that you are passionate. I see that your resume is good. Give me your resume. I can help you submit them. So conducting informal interview is good. We've talked about groups, joining those groups. We've also talked about you need an exercise this weekend where you go and connect to 500 professionals. Join those groups to have access to the right professionals. Personalize each of those notes when you send it out. The next one is you have to follow companies. If there are companies that you're interested in what they do, some of them don't advertise on the regular advertisement companies, like Indeed. So you need to follow them on LinkedIn because you will see notifications when they have new openings. Publish. You have to curate and author content. On LinkedIn, there are 2 contents. There's the long content and there's the short content that you post on your wall. The one that gets more reach is the short one. If you publish the long content, because it's too long, the attention span of people is limited. They don't read it. But if it's the short one is the one that catches people's attention the most. And how do you get people to, and when you publish content, how do you get people to like it and comment? When you start your content writing with questions, like, have you ever? Or you're sharing a story that people can relate with, maybe a story about failure, or a story about your child, personal stories. So you have to remember when publishing this content, start with questions, personal notes, and stuff like that, that people feel like you are human. It makes them comment on your content. What I also suggest for content, because if your content, when you post your content, the faster people comment, the more relevant your content will be up for so long. If people don't comment on your content on time, it's going to fizzle out quickly. So what you will do is when you want to post your content, you first go and tell all your friends in that WhatsApp group and tell them, I'm going to post, I need you people to come and comment as I'm posting this thing. This is what I'm going to post. They'll tell you, it's good, yeah, go and post. We are going there for you. As you are posting, before 5 minutes, let all your family members and your cousins, let them be commenting.
Everybody. Yeah, yeah.
Because you want your post to be visible for a longer time. When it's visible, everybody on your page, they will see it. Every time they come on LinkedIn, they will see it. So your face is registering on their timeline every time. So if you ever go, some of them will click and read your post, right? So whenever you need their help, they know you're an intellectual. They know you're a contributor. They know that you're a great person, right? So they will be happy to do informal interview with you. They will be happy to do a whole lot of things. Tunde touched on this one. There is a toggle on LinkedIn that you can turn on.
Yeah.
So let recruiter know that you are looking for jobs. Let me tell you, that thing is live. It's good. I've gotten a lot of different jobs from that. I am not looking for a job, but I turn it on because I want to continue to know, am I still relevant?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I want to feel relevant. So please turn it on, but make sure that if there is a way you can turn on your location to Canada, so that if recruiters are looking, recruiters from Canada can see your profile. Okay.
Yeah.
So for optimizing LinkedIn, I think that's where I'm going to stop. I believe that LinkedIn has a lot of potential and you can utilize it to get jobs wherever you are. Whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Nigeria, whether you are in Ukraine, you are listening to me, it is important for you to optimize your LinkedIn and make sure it is good. Publish if you can. Please do. Follow those companies. I didn't mention this. Ask for recommendations. So for the people that work with, ask them to go and write reference for you on your LinkedIn. Let them say nice words about you, what project you work on with them, how efficient you are, because all of these things recruiters look at.
Yeah.
Recruiters look at all the references. What do people say about this person before they send you an email? So if you can, from your old boss, from your old colleagues, from the students that were you taught, if you're a researcher, let them all write good things about you on your LinkedIn. And I always say this, there's this skill thing there where people can endorse your skill. Don't let people who are not in your field endorse your skill. If they're not in your field, they're trying to endorse your skill. Right now, you can say ignore. Please ignore any endorsement that is not related to your field, because when recruiter goes there, they see this endorsement, they click on those people's profile, they see that they are not in your field. It nullifies your recommendation. It makes them look at you like you're not serious. So if anybody has endorsed you, they don't belong to your work, they don't even know what you're doing, please go and remove them, because we want to make sure that the people who endorse you for the skills are the people who actually know what they're endorsing, right? That is the end of it on this LinkedIn Keneo, and we have 9 more minutes. Do you have anything to add today?
I think you are awesome. All these things you have shared for free. Yeah, all these things you have shared for free. You know, even myself, I'm on the LinkedIn. Really very good. I would say, you know, if one is actually strategic about job search, if one is strategic about career growth, you know, you'll be very surprised at where it can take you, the opportunities it can open for you, right? And like you said, people always want to talk about themselves, right? Give people that opportunity. Reach out to somebody. I see you are doing this. I see you're already in this role. I want to also be in that role. Everybody wants to talk about themselves all the time. You know, they want to tell you, oh, this is how I did it, this is how you should do it, this is how it's going to be. You know, it gives you an insight into what you should expect, into what you should do, into how you should do it, into what questions you should ask, and into actually reflecting, you know, by yourself, is it actually right for me or not? You know, and you'll be very surprised at how things will, you know, begin to materialize, how positive it's going to be at the end of the day. I see, you know, with the way you talk with so much passion and all, now I see where that track record is coming from. But
thank you.
Thank you.
Do we want to use 8 minutes that is left in this session to answer their questions, or we want to bid them good night?
Yeah, we can take maybe 1 or 2 questions, hopefully.
Okay.
And yeah, and then
so guys, if you have your question in the question box, I'm going to be opening that and be looking at questions relevant to what we've talked about.
Yeah.
And we'll be asking today. So this is okay, I'm not. So somebody's asking, can you apply for jobs before commencing your PR process?
You can, like I said, you can use it to test the waters, right? Create a number that can route to your Nigerian number.
do that to kind of familiarize yourself with the interview process, right? By the time you begin to speak with somebody that is not Nigerian, somebody that is outside the shores of the country, you begin to understand the kind of questions they ask you. And what you are doing is you are prepping yourself. You know, by the time the real interview comes, after you get your PR and all that, then you'll be ready. You know, whatever questions they begin to ask, you already know them. You already know how to answer them, right? And it doesn't become new to you, and you don't get to lose chances, you know, that are for you. You know, I spoke with somebody last 2 weeks. So he's had interview with Uber, with Apple, with Twitter, that offices here in Toronto, and he's in Lagos. Do you understand? And he's been having interview with these folks, and he's beginning to notice a pattern of questions. He's beginning to notice a pattern of how the interview looks like, right? And it's helping him as a person. So by the time he gets to Canada, or even before he gets to Canada, he'll be able to land a job, right? Because of the exposure he's already received.
Thank you. There's another one here. Aside getting a part of your salary,
yeah,
these agencies require agency fees.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They are not greedy. They are not some sort of money, you know, mongers that want to kind of just, you know, drain you. They just take a portion of the payment, usually like 5%, 10%. Like I said, if the job is like $60, maybe they take 10, maybe they take 15, and once your contract is over, that's it. They don't take any extra fee on top of that.
Okay. And guys, are you dropping your questions? Because we have 5 more minutes. We can still take at least 2 more questions. There are questions in the box, but a lot of them are not relevant to today's topic. So I'm keeping them. And so somebody's asking, is it compulsory to add a referee to my resume?
No, it's not. It's not compulsory. You know, it's like, how would I say it? It's like dating. When you begin to date somebody, right? You don't take them home the first day you meet, right? You get to know them outside first, and if they ask to meet somebody, then you introduce them to people that are close to you. That's how reference also works. You don't have to include your resume. You can include the line references are available upon request. You can also take that out. If they need your references, they will ask you, right? So you don't need to put any reference while putting in your resume.
Okay. The next one is, what can you advise a fresh graduate with minimum work experience to do?
What you need to do is you have to highlight as much as possible your soft skills, right? Soft skills are transferable, and soft skills help you regardless of what role you're looking for. You have experience or not, right? Hard skills will knock on the door for you. Soft skills will keep you in that role. So what you want to do is highlight the soft skills. The soft skills, you know, the projects you have worked on in school, you know, how you were able to, you know, work on a particular project and be successful, you know, your end to end, all that. You have to highlight that and make it relevant to the soft skills that they need on the job you're applying for. You'll be very surprised that most of these jobs that are being, you know, posted online, somehow, even if they don't talk about the soft skills, you find that soft skills in that job by the time you read through it. You know, if they tell you that, oh, you have to do this job, you can notice that, oh, this one will actually need communication skills. That way you make your communication skills on your resume profound, right? So for somebody without experience, you want to loud your soft skills as much as possible, because soft skills are transferable skills that anybody in any role can actually, you know, use regardless of what role you are in. And it will help you if you don't have experience.
There's another question here on maybe career transition in a bit. I have a degree in something else, but because of the situation of Nigeria, I've been working in another field. I had a degree in geology. I've been working in banking for 5 years. Now, if I want to look for a job in Canada, what should I do?
What you want to do is you want to first of all understand what industry you are changing to, right? Are you still waiting in the banking industry? If yes, what licenses do I need? Am I switching to tech? If yes, what skills do I need to start with? What area of tech am I switching to? Right? You are in a different place other than what you study. Doesn't mean you shouldn't, you know, look at how it applies to you. I did chemistry in my undergrad, right? I'm not a chemist today. I'm not a scientist today, but it's on my resume still, right? Because I've been able to kind of change my career path. So what you want to do is decide first, is it still the banking industry that I'm going to go into Canada? If yes, do I need licenses to practice? If yes, what are the bodies that are actually providing those licenses? If yes, what are the eligibility requirements that I need for those licenses? Right, by the time you begin to ask these questions, tick them up, then you begin to realize. But the good thing is, because you have a different background in school with what you are actually doing now regarding your experience, it doesn't matter, right? You just have to decide first, is it what I'm going with, or I'm going this other direction?
So somebody mentioned this. I'm going to be quick. That, okay, if I turn my location to Canada before arriving in Canada, is that not an integrity issue? So
it is not.
I want you to know this. When you turn your location to Canada, you are doing that because you're trying to grasp what groups are available in Canada.
Yeah.
So you want to turn it on then, what groups are showing up, so you can register in the right groups. If you you don't have to keep it there, but I want to make sure that if you are connecting to professionals, you are connecting to professionals in Canada. You are connecting to groups in Canada, so you need to turn it on for it to be an option. If you're in Nigeria and you are looking for groups for your field, it will only give you Nigerian groups. So let's be clear about that. So this is not like I want you to keep it there, but I want you to take advantage of that to get the right things. We have 1 more minute, and I want to use this opportunity to thank Tunde.
Thank you.
Today, you are worthy of awards in Nigeria.
Thank you.
Guys, if you can hear me, we should be nominating Tunde for future awards.
Thank you so much.
Tunde is a leader. He's selfless. He does a whole lot of things, including people like me. You know, when I go on your page, I go and look at it. Maybe Tunde is going to be asking me for my online course, or I'm going to be writing things down. Thank you for all the things that you do.
Thank you so much. Coming from you, I'm really, really, elated. Thanks a lot.
I want to add this, guys. Job search is a job. You cannot apply for 3 jobs, 10 jobs, 20 jobs, and say that is it, I'm fine. Nope. I did 3,000 applications when I was looking for a job. You have to be strategic. Use the resources. If you need to use agency, use them. Make sure you have done your market research and make sure your resume matches that. We have 8 more seconds. Again, thank you, everyone.